Button began volunteering as a junior volunteer in the summer of 2022 and has continued to volunteer every summer since. She enjoys being at the hospital and helping put a smile on a patient's face, and it shows. Ella came in every week with a big smile and positive attitude. Her supervisors admire her passion for volunteering, her self-motivation, and her always approachable presence. This past summer was Ella's second year volunteering on 4 Main, the surgical and orthopedic unit. Upon her return to the unit, she was immediately able to pick up where she left off. Ella is proactive, approachable, thoughtful, and dedicated to working hard to meet the needs of our patients and families. On various occasions, Ella sought out additional opportunities to help the Child Life staff on 4 Main, which was so appreciated. When prompted or given a task, Ella would ensure that she completed it in a timely manner and always with a cheerful attitude. One day, staff had an alone patient who was having a difficult time being comforted, leaving staff anxious about leaving the child in order to go meet the needs of other patients. Ella jumped at the opportunity to help, and staff immediately felt comfortable leaving her with the patient. They knew of the quality care she gives to each patient and her ability to handle a patient who was anxious and upset to be alone. In addition to her regular shift, Ella volunteered to participate in Cook Children's annual disaster preparedness drill. Her role was that of a child that had been injured at Six Flags in a shooting. The annual drill allows Cook Children's staff to practice responding during a mass casualty incident. Ella was one of over 40 teen volunteers who used their acting skills to make the scenario as real as possible for staff. For her kindness and always willing to help attitude, we honor Ella Button as the 2023 Cook Children's Junior Volunteer of the Year. Amy Wagner's journey as a parent volunteer all started when her son, Luke, became a patient at Cook Children's. In September 2020, Amy made the decision to serve as a parent mentor and a member of the Medical Center Family Advisory Council, FAC. She was instrumental in getting a Neurology Family Advisory Council started where she could share her expertise from a parent's perspective and be able to help and mentor parents or guardians in similar situations. Her son's medical journey has not been easy, but you would never know it from Amy's attitude and her ability to spread joy like wildfire. Amy welcomes any opportunity to serve her Cook Children's family and shines her light wherever she goes. Amy brings such a wealth of expertise and helpful attributes to the council and to other parents she mentors, the greatest of which is her attitude to always choose joy. Her supervisors describe her as positive, full of joy, helpful, caring, compassionate, knowledgeable, and helping. They also say that Amy leaves you more positive than she found you. Even in the toughest of times, you will often hear Amy saying that she is finding joy in the journey or choosing joy. That kind of positivity and joy is exactly what families and staff need. Amy never passes up a chance to volunteer. For a recent holiday party for the Medical Center Family Advisory Council, Amy was instrumental in planning fun events and then brought Luke's big sister, Lexi, along to help too. She also willingly accepts mentor requests when another newly diagnosed neurology parent is identified. The lived experience and encouragement she provides to often overwhelmed parents is invaluable and lets them know they don't walk alone. Additionally, Amy has served on parent panels in the nurse residency program and was a parent advisor during a recent Quality Quick Topic educational presentation to staff. For her positive demeanor and joyful spirit, we honor Amy Wagner as the Cook Children's 2023 Family Advisor of the Year. Martha Cunningham has been a Woman's Board member since 2015. In her service as a member, she has been a devoted and reliable volunteer in the Enchanted Castle gift shop, helping parents, visitors, and staff find that perfect gift, assembling balloon bouquets, and arranging displays. She recently added the role of prayer bear deliveries for the spiritual care department to her commitments, during which she gifts a new bear to newly admitted patients. The delivery always produces a smile as the bear gets a welcoming hug from the child. Additionally, Martha has participated in the Woman's Board Cards for Kids fundraisers, the Holiday Boutique fundraiser, and the NICU reunion. Her service does not end there. Martha has also helped with multiple pop-up projects throughout the healthcare system during her years of volunteer service. With a total of more than 800 volunteer hours, there are not many things Martha has not done. Martha has many wonderful qualities that have made her a favorite among her peers. She is described as happy, dedicated, dependable, and compassionate, with a great sense of humor and a sweet demeanor. Martha truly has a servant's heart and is always looking for ways to give. In fact, this past Christmas, Martha decided to purchase and donate bears to the Prayer Bear Den in honor of each of her friends. For her generous heart and compassion, we honor Martha Cunningham as Cook Children's 2023 Woman's Board Volunteer of the Year. Sarah Beth Hooper has been engaged in all aspects of Camp Sanguinity for more than half her life. She first came to Sanguinity as a camper in 2000 and then continued on to participate in our camp leadership program in 2005 and became a counselor for the first time in 2008. Over the years, as a cabin counselor, she's worked with a variety of camper ages, even with the 6-year-old boy's cabin one summer. Sarah Beth has a natural smile that draws in both kids and adults and has a gentle spirit that easily creates connection and camaraderie. She has the ability to make each camper feel special and valued, which gives campers in her cabin an even greater opportunity to experience the magic that is camp. One of the things that makes Sarah Beth such an amazing counselor is that she has never forgotten the positive impact that camp made on her as a camper. Her experiences as a camper is why she works so hard as a counselor to make sure her campers leave camp with the same positive, lifelong impression. In 2018, Sarah joined the Friends of Camp Sanguinity Board of Directors to fill an open position and has continued to serve on the board ever since, including serving one term as board secretary. Even though she moved to New York City last year, she has continued to attend meetings virtually and is committed to staying engaged and supportive of all that goes into planning camp. Sarah has many amazing gifts, and she brings them all with her to camp, benefiting not just her group of campers, but all campers. She is a singer-songwriter and guitar player, so it comes naturally for her to use these abilities to engage campers in music-related activities. She has introduced music to campers through guitar lessons and songwriting as projects during camp, as well as with her campers in the cabin and on cookout nights. She has also used her gift of music to provide music during our opening ceremony at camp and has written a song, the Butterfly Song, specifically around the experience of being at Camp Sanguinity. Sarah Beth has made a profound commitment to Camp Sanguinity over the years. Her intentional focus on making sure campers feel the magic of camp makes her a rock star counselor and the Camp Sanguinity Volunteer of the Year.
And as sure as the butterfly is promised her wings, and the leaves that fall to the ground get replaced every spring, the sun's gonna rise in the morning and the birds are gonna sing. So you know you'll always find a friend at Camp Sanguinity. Oh.
Regina Rain began volunteering on 5 North Tower, the inpatient hematology oncology unit, 10 years ago. She has spent countless hours playing with patients, providing parents with a much-needed respite break, cleaning toys, organizing the playrooms, and other tasks her supervisors ask of her. And she does it all with enthusiasm and good cheer. Her supervisors have described her as a critical thinker and problem solver, caring, attentive to staff, patients, and their families. Regina has always been reliable and consistent and a great role model for others, so it was no surprise when her supervisors nominated her to be a mentor to new volunteers after just 1 year of service as a volunteer. As a mentor, Regina is always on top of things. She is quick to contact a new volunteer to set up their shadowing and training. She warmly greets them when they arrive and helps them get settled in. Regina orients the new volunteer thoroughly and makes sure the volunteer feels comfortable in their new role. She ensures the volunteer is given all the information and support needed to be successful. This includes safety education for that unit, a tour of the unit, and making sure the volunteer checks in with both the child life supervisors and the hematology oncology nurses. She even gives them tips and tricks she has learned along the way to make things easier for them. From check-in to check-out, Regina is at their side, encouraging questions, providing support, and sharing experiences. Regina's expertise and experience as a retired nurse and as a volunteer with over 2,000 hours of service are invaluable and trusted. She is confident enough in her role as a mentor to provide feedback to her supervisors when she feels a volunteer may not be a good fit for that particular unit's unique needs and emotional environment. When Regina believes that someone may not be successful in the volunteer role, her supervisors take her assessment very seriously. In the same vein, when Regina gives the thumbs up, we know we have another great volunteer joining the hematology oncology team. For her reliability and perceptiveness, we honor Regina Rain as the 2023 Cook Children's Volunteer Mentor of the Year. Sharon Cox began volunteering nearly 5 years ago and has been a tremendous support to multiple departments during her over 800 volunteer hours with Cook Children's. Sharon began at the information desk helping families and visitors as they arrived at the hospital, giving directions to their appointment location or looking up a patient's room number. She then volunteered at the Family Resource Center, continuing to provide information for parents and caregivers about nearby resources like stores, lodging, restaurants, and more. Sharon's next volunteer position was with the Process Improvement PI department. After volunteering with the department for about 2 years, Sharon was asked if she would consider working as an employee 1 day a week due to them having work that she could accomplish with additional hours. Sharon readily said yes and was hired and given more responsibilities. Sharon had been volunteering in the retail pharmacy at the same time she was volunteering with Process Improvement. Little did she know that the pharmacy had started a project with the PI department to improve issues they faced, such as improving serving customers more quickly. Her work in both departments provided useful firsthand knowledge. She was equipped to share where some of the glitches were and helped to develop a new process for solving the issue of locating prescriptions more easily so parents had a shorter wait time. The pharmacy team and her supervisor have wonderful things to say about Sharon. Her supervisor says that Sharon is always willing to jump in and help, even on the craziest and busiest of days. Her attention to detail is just what the pharmacy needs, especially when making sure the patients and families are picking up the correct medications. Sharon has amazing customer service skills and is a joy to work with. Her dedication to her role is beyond measurement. For her dedication and teamwork, we honor Sharon Cox as the 2023 Cook Children's Helping Hands Volunteer of the Year. Mary Sunday has been a longtime volunteer with Cook Children's. She has been volunteering for 20 years and has over 2,100 service hours. Mary has served in many different areas of the hospital. Her first years were as a volunteer on 5 Main, the General Medical Unit, helping child life staff and keeping alone patients company. Mary also served as a NICU buddy, holding and comforting the tiniest patients in our neonatal unit. She was also a volunteer in the Enchanted Castle gift shop. Currently, Mary volunteers as a hospitality ambassador with the hospitality cart. Her supervisors and fellow volunteers describe Mary as compassionate, giving, caring, dedicated, reliable, and hardworking. Her positive attitude makes her a delight for supervisors and volunteers alike to work with her. Her number one priority is the families and patients at Cook Children's and trying to make their stay as pleasant as possible. To that end, Mary finds joy in taking the hospitality cart, a cart full of toiletries and other essentials, around to the families that are inpatient. She makes sure that each family has what they need, whether it be shampoo, toothpaste, fuzzy socks, or a blanket. Often, families come to the hospital on an emergency basis and do not have self-care essentials with them. Mary knows the importance of making sure they get the items they need so they have one less thing to worry about while their child is inpatient. Mary is always willing to help train new volunteers on the hospitality cart and do anything else her supervisor asks. Her compassion and enthusiasm for volunteering are the reasons several other great volunteers are with us today. For her dedication to patient and family experience, we honor Mary Sunday as the 2023 Cook Children's Service Excellence Helping Hands Volunteer of the Year. Kathy Creamer has been a volunteer on 3 Pavilion and 4 Pavilion, the nephrology and the neurology epilepsy monitoring units since 2022. Kathy is dependable, a great communicator, quick learner, and always has a positive attitude. Her time management skills, balancing interacting with patients with making sure the playroom is cleaned and organized, among other volunteer duties between the 2 different units, allow her child life staff free to focus on their specialized work. Kathy always goes out of her way to make sure she is making a difference and building a strong rapport with everyone she meets. She often spends time with patients whose families aren't able to be at the hospital due to various circumstances. Kathy realizes the importance of making sure the child does not feel alone and is entertained during the time she is volunteering. She plays board games or colors with the patient or does whatever it takes to make the patient feel special, seen, and loved. Kathy was also a tremendous help with a donation that came in for the epilepsy monitoring unit. Over 700 toys were given to the unit. Kathy helped bring all the donations up to the floor, sorted them, and then put them where they needed to be stored. It was such a huge help to have someone dedicated to getting the toys sorted and put away so that staff could focus on the patients. No matter the task given, Kathy is always up for it with a smile. She also offers to help when she is done for the day on her units, stopping by the volunteer office to offer her time, which is happily accepted when a pop-up project needs attention. Kathy also served on the Volunteer Services Planning Committee for the Bedpan Open, an annual putt-putt golf-style patient event. She helped set up, decorate, and cheered on patients as they attempted to get a hole-in-one. With over 160 volunteer hours in her short time as a volunteer, Kathy has made sure that each one of those hours has made an impact on patients, families, and staff. For her willingness to go above and beyond, we honor Kathy Creamer as the 2023 Cook Children's Patient Care Volunteer of the Year. Melissa Forsyth has been a baby bookworm reader at Cook Children's for 3 years and has served over 240 hours. In this role, she reads to infants 0 to 18 months to provide language nutrition. Reading from birth has been shown to help with future language development and therefore greater success in school, with health, and more. However, Melissa does much more than read to our infants. She has a gift for assessing when an infant needs extra attention, time, and cuddles. Some days, 1 or 2 little ones will enjoy her company for her full shift, while at other times, Melissa sees dozens of little ones. She always returns with a big smile and often a great story about an infant she spent time with. A retired teacher, librarian, Melissa knows just the right board books to select and gift to each infant she reads to. The donated board books are a gift to the parents to encourage reading at home. She also provides an educational piece in the form of a bookmark for parents and caregivers that explains the importance of reading aloud from birth and offers a variety of suggestions for including reading, speaking, and singing into daily activities at home. Melissa presents a calming presence that the babies sense and respond to. She is empathetic and patient with the little ones who gravitate to her. She is caring and friendly, which parents and family members appreciate. As a volunteer, she is reliable and consistent. If she's on the schedule that day, we know she'll be there, on time, and ready to go. One time, Melissa arrived from her shift and came into the office apologizing because she had only seen one patient that shift. It was an infant who was always alone and had multiple health issues. She felt bad that she had not seen more infants that day. We let her know that she was exactly where she needed to be and had made the right choice for that little one. It's so important to find the right volunteer for the right role and vice versa. When that happens, the outcome is perfection, as the patients and families are offered the best experience possible for their circumstances. Melissa is that perfect fit in every way. For her empathy and soothing presence, we honor Melissa Forsyth as the 2023 Cook Children's Service Excellence Patient Care Volunteer of the Year. Mary Jane Garcia has been an exceptional volunteer supervisor for many years. In fact, this is her second time to win Supervisor of the Year recognition, her first time being in 2019. She is usually nominated every year by at least one of her surgery waiting room volunteers, which goes to show she is a huge hit in her supervisory role and with her volunteers. Mary Jane is warm and welcoming from the volunteers' very first day. She makes them feel right at home, which is comforting, especially with first-day nerves of not knowing what to expect in a pediatric surgery setting, which can be stressful and emotional. She provides reassurance, which eases any anxiety from the moment she greets them, and then provides a thorough training to ensure the volunteer's success. Her volunteers describe her as kind, calm, passionate, professional, caring, and a true testament to the Cook Children's promise. She has a passion for making sure families are well taken care of based on her own personal story of being a parent in the same situation. She wants to make sure each family member in the room feels cared for during their child's surgical procedure and feels comfortable while they wait for updates via text or the status board. Mary Jane encourages them to seek assistance from any of her volunteers should they have any questions along the way. She wants families to know they are not alone, and she emphasizes it in her training with new volunteers. Because of her great example as a supervisor and employee of Cook Children's, Mary Jane inspires volunteers and fellow staff to not only be helpful and kind, but to make sure the families feel important, heard, and cared for, thereby giving them the best experience possible for their situation. For her leadership and inspiration to staff and volunteers, we honor Mary Jane Garcia as the 2023 Cook Children's Volunteer Supervisor of the Year. Patricia Pat Pierce started volunteering in pastoral care, now referred to as spiritual care, over 20 years ago. One of her first acts of service was as part of a team of volunteers who participated in the Noah's Kneelers Project. This talented group stitched all the kneelers and triptychs to match the stained glass piece of Noah and the Ark in the Irma Low Chapel of the hospital. Pat spent 668 hours lovingly placing tens of thousands of needlepoint stitches, which remain on display in the chapel today. A few years later, Pat chose to sign on to volunteer delivering prayer bears to inpatients. Pat selected and made rounds distributing the donated bears to inpatients and told their families about the services spiritual care had to offer. Each bear Pat gifted found loving homes in the arms of the children and teens she met. As Pat gave away bears, she created countless smiles. When the pandemic began in 2020, volunteers were not able to be on campus for over 18 months for their own protection. That did not stop Pat for 1 minute. Pat found a way to continue serving as she picked up bears and took them home to work on. She fluffed, detagged, and bowed the bears, then returned them to spiritual care staff for distribution to patients. The staff can always tell which bows Pat has done because of her beautifully done work. Pat's wholehearted commitment to the Prayer Bear program led her to volunteer in several capacities due to changing circumstances in her personal life. Her enthusiasm and belief in the program's mission led her to avoid at all costs the need to take a leave of absence or part ways with the program when external challenges arose. Instead, she consistently continued to give of her time in a manner that was workable for her. When the physical toll of walking several miles per shift, delivering bears throughout an ever-growing hospital became too much, Pat began volunteering in the bear den, bringing ribbons she had purchased to bow the larger bears. Pat continued to find time to devote to the Prayer Bear program even when family demands made it difficult. She mentioned many times that finding a bit of time to bow bears, even in the midst of emotional times, to be a welcome respite. Pat continues to impact the Prayer Bear program today by helping with the day-to-day operations of the program. In fact, Pat is such a reliable and trustworthy person that she was asked by department staff to train numerous other volunteers joining the program. For her devotion to children and longtime dedication to Cook Children's, we honor Pat Pierce as the 2023 Lifetime Achievement Honoree.